Speaking, that's not even the next slide. I have a slide because there still is a roundabout on the Fort Worth side. So in summary, I know you've heard us talk about this before, you've seen this exhibit before. This is what the meandering road design will be. So existing, we've got 2 lanes in each direction in and out of the base from Roberts Cutoff all the way up to Eastgate. The proposed design incorporates sidewalks and shared use paths, and that's to improve pedestrian facilities. We're providing a center left turn lane, and so that's also to help with the operation of meandering road, access to all those driveways. And so this is what the final design will look like, kind of in a snapshot. And then, speaking of which, we have our roundabout. This one remains, this is right at the dividing line, the city boundary between Fort Worth and River Oaks.
AKA the good roundabout.
The happy roundabout.
The one that looks like it's 14 tridents crossing each other now, so, yeah.
Yes, and so, based on public involvement and public feedback, you may or may not notice change here. Brock's Lane is now tying into the northwestern segment of Meandering Road. And so this is a change. We previously had a kind of a cul-de-sac turnaround, but the property owner was unwilling to sell, and so we modified that design, and this is actually a better, I think, it will improve operations. It allows Brock's Lane to ingress and egress from Meandering Road. So
was it a private property owner, or was it being
private.
Discussed to be Camp Guard, anything else?
No, it was a private property owner.
Okay.
Commercial.
Okay.
So this one remains intact. No major design changes to the actual roundabout. It's just that tie-in from Brock's to Meandering. Right-of-way impacts here, not sure. I don't turn this off, but we are taking, you can see in the green area, there's a proposed right-of-way label. That entire parcel will be purchased. It was formerly a commercial business. It's dilapidated, and that one will be purchased in full. We'll demolish the building and use that area for the connection from Brock's Lane to Meandering Road. And then there's still a couple of corner clips on the northwest and southeast corner of this roundabout, just in order to provide for grading.
The old Black Anchor.
Yes.
Prime establishment.
Yes. Yes.
I've heard it called a lot of things, but I never knew it was called the Black Angus.
That's what it was back in the day.
So commercial.
I was their beer man for years.
I-
Fine place.
This did turn out to be an absolute plus, that the project was able to really do away with a piece of property that's seriously dilapidated and will absolutely improve that neighborhood. So that was a really good.
Right. So now that we have environmental clearance, right away is being, the funding is being verified right now, and so within the next couple of weeks, it should be able to start having real conversations with that property owner as well as others. The Yale intersection this is a picture that I took last time we were here, I believe, so in the spring, and the two-way stop had been converted to a four-way stop, and that has been the existing condition for probably 6 or so months. And I haven't heard any complaints. Seems like it's going well. City passed the ordinance to turn this into an all-way stop, and so based, again, on public feedback, this will remain an all-way stop. So we've updated a traffic study to incorporate that as the existing conditions, and this is what the design will look like with the all-way stop.
So one different, the last time y'all were before us, there was discussion that it would involve Yale having to be realigned because it's offset. That's not the case, right?
In a perfect world, we would do that, but in order to avoid right-of-way take,
Right.
it does meet the tolerance of.
Which I think is reasonable. If we were realigning Yale from, Roberts Cutoff to the Boulevard, I think that would be a thing. But, I mean, the whole point here is to make meandering better, not
Right.
necessarily fix every issue that was ever done wrong.
In a perfect world, millions of dollars, and that would be great. So we are fixing the meandering, and it will be offset, but it's within the range of what's
Does
acceptable.
the green still represent right away you need to acquire?
No, this next slide will show right-of-way impact, and it's really faint. I apologize. We really have not modified what we're calling right-of-way take. However, I think this slide is really better to see. The red shows sidewalk. The grass, or the green represents grass, and then, my slide didn't get up there, apologies. And then we've got driveways, and so basically we should not have to acquire right-of-way in this area because we're not carrying the sidewalk north and south. So there may be some required right-of-way takes either for utility relocation or some grading, but we have minimized the amount of right-of-way that's
If it's needed for utility, is that still part of what y'all do? Is that,
That will all be included. Part of what we're starting on now is utility coordination. So we talk to the utilities, and the utilities relocate. We just have to help them along and tell them where to go.
and the right-of-way acquisition is what Fort Worth is going to do for us? Or
No, the agreement is Fort Worth will acquire right-of-way within their city limits, and then River Oaks will acquire within your own city
I thought
limits.
we turned that over
We
to
kept
them.
it ping-pong back and forth. One time they said they wanted to do it. Sorry, I'm sure it wasn't you specifically. One time they said that, so we passed an ordinance that gave them the authority to do it, and then they came back about 6 months later and said, no, we want the city, we want River Oaks to do it, so we undid it.
And I think there is a consultant that may be under contract, or,
We have a consultant, but the problem is, she's out of town right now, I won't be able to get her back till the 22nd. Is that gonna be a problem?
no, not at all. Because part of what we're doing right now is pulling the right-of-way documents together to show what right-of-way needs to be acquired. And so we should probably schedule a meeting with all of us.
Okay. Well, we're meeting with her on the 22nd, but we can meet with her assistant prior to that if we need to get things
I
started.
don't think it's necessary.
And then,
Can I join you on the 22nd?
yeah,
Because I think I'll still be involved from the perspective of River Oaks will need to request reimbursement from Fort Worth, and Fort Worth will need to request reimbursement from TxDOT. And so I don't mind at least getting things set up and coordinated between all the groups.
We would appreciate
No problem.
that.
So just send me the meeting invite.
Because
you
this
get
is-
Fort Worth to send us about $3 million.
Dan?
I'm guessing this is something we haven't done much on.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not aware.
We're not gonna leave you hanging, no problem. I do wanna stress here, there's a reason why, especially in a federally funded project, there's a lot of public involvement we go through. It's a common theme that the government does not listen well, but I can promise you here, we listen very well. The amount of right-of-way and impact that we're gonna have on these 4 quadrants and the property owners here is much, much less than what we showed you when we were here last time. You're absolutely right. It's not ideal to leave these streets on a line, but you know, even a lady, I told Jill this, an elderly woman outside this city hall, the last time I was here, even said to me, well, Dan, if you're trying to discourage traffic from going up and down Yale, why in the world would you align these streets? And, you know, I don't think she had the nerve to say that to me publicly, but she said it privately, and we very much heard that. The other thing we're all very sensitive to, the price to build a road has gone up by 50% in the last 2 years. And so we're watching the costs very carefully. It doesn't mean I think we're fine. Jill's done a great job. But, yeah, we're not looking also to find more ways to spend money in the corridor. So I'm really happy. I mean, I'm sorry we had to drag a lot of people through a lot of tough meetings to get where we're at. But in the end, I think the property owners are going to feel much less impact from the road. And that was our original goal.
I'm glad whoever was responsible for the shift, not having the road realigned now, because early on, TxDOT says they deemed it as
You're looking at her. She's right there.
There's an unsafe intersection. I consider any intersection an unsafe intersection if you're having to cross it or go merge onto it, but, you know, before they were dead set against, it's either align it or a roundabout, one or the other, and it was gonna take more property. So whoever was responsible for that, I'm glad to see that got resolved.
Some additional conversation.
We've been through 8 project managers in the TxDOT district office. Thank God for Chad, he's still with us. He's our 5th or 6th in the city of Fort Worth.
He's your what?
5th or 6th project manager. Sometimes
Oh,
it's
that's
a matter of
56.
sometimes it's just a matter of wearing them down.
I think we
Yeah.
gotta retire.